Hey, what's up guys, Dopes930 here. Hopefully I don't look too tired. As always, I don't know why, I feel like my dad always tells me to, I'm tired way too much for no reason, but anyways, I decided to make a follow-up video to my R-jtag tutorial video because I've gotten a lot of questions. I've uploaded the video, I think it's been 2 weeks now roughly, and every day or so I get a couple questions on the video. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in this video, go through your questions and hopefully I can answer them for you. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first question I have comes from Bloodshot Mods, and he asks, or they ask, I'll just assume, 90% of, I think it's like 93% of my viewers are males, so I'm going to go with he. He asks, can you do a tutorial on how to install JR Programmer V2? And my answer to that is no, not at the moment, because I don't have a JR Programmer V2. I have a JR Programmer V1, which is the same thing. I mean, the thing is, if you watch my tutorial, you install the JR Programmer the same way you install the Nandex. The color wires are identical, there's no difference, so you can follow it right along with your JR Programmer V2. The only thing I can't do is I can't show you guys how to use the radar feature. I think radar is how you pronounce it, which helps you find the best glitch timings using the radar software that Team Xecuter has supplied. So if your question is, can you tutorial on how to install it, then that's how you install it. It's just by install it like you would a Nandex on all of my videos. If you're talking about for the radar, again, I don't know how to pronounce it, then it's just simply plug and play. You plug in one end of the cable to the JR Programmer V2, other end goes into the R-jtag, and bam, that's it. So hopefully that, that'll help you out with that question. Alright, next question comes from Waji Hassan, and he asks, I have 15574 dashboard, can it be R-jtagged? And yes, that dashboard can be R-jtagged. 15574 is the minimum for what can be R-jtagged. Again, as of right now, Xbox or Microsoft hasn't patched the R-jtag. I don't know if they'll ever be able to or will. So if you were below 15574, essentially you can just upgrade above 15574 and you'd be good to go. I also wanted to add though, you just asked if 15574 can be R-jtag. Yes, it can, but make sure it's an HDMI console, because if it's a Xenon or an Opus, if you happen to have an Opus, it can't be done at the moment. Team Xecuter says they're going to be releasing a non-HDMI version. Hopefully, I haven't heard anything about it recently, so I don't know whether it's on the back burner or whether it's coming. But make sure if you pick up an R-jtag kit, as of right now, they're just for Phat HDMI consoles. Alright, next question comes from Benjamin Tesser. His question was answered. Thank you to Severity Snipe. But again, I will confirm that the answer is correct. He asks, is the Nandex required with the Ultimate Kit? I got the Ultimate Kit today, and I figured that's all that I needed. Yeah, you're good to go then, man. I don't have the... Well, I have a JR Programmer, but I don't have a JR Programmer V2. And I always use my Nandex, so that's what I use for the tutorial. If you do look at the beginning of the tutorial, I say you need a NAND reader, and I put in parentheses NANDX, just kind of, that was supposed to mean like that's what I used. But yeah, if you bought the Ultimate Kit, you're going to have the JR Programmer V2, so you are good to go. And once again, thank you to Severity Snipe for helping out. I do like when you guys actually... because I can't always answer questions. I mean, this guy asked the question 2 weeks ago, so I'm sure he's beyond this by now, but it's cool when you guys actually that know the answer help out with other people that have questions. Alright, next question comes from Beastly Quickscoper 1. He asks, why did it Red Ring of Death the first time? Good question. Again, I've only R-jtagged one console. It was that console. I did it strictly for the tutorial. I really don't have any interest in doing a lot of R-jtags unless it gets kind of simplified. But in my opinion, the R-jtag is, I guess it's a great thing. It's cool because now anything that's any dashboard on Phat HDMI can be hacked, and it can get good timings if you mess with it. But it's a lot more things at play. It's like a combination of the JTAG and RGH kind of in a way. So me, along with tons of other people, have experienced this where it can boot 20 times in a row fine, then all of a sudden you'll get a red ring of death. You turn it off, turn it back on, and it's good to go. So why is it a red ring of death? I really don't know, but it's not really a concern. I mean, it works fine, and again, 9 out of 10 times it's not having any red ring of death problems. Alright, next question comes from Client 105. He has a very long question. He says, "Hey, really good tutorial, but you lost me. You lost me after you soldered the wires to the chip. Where does the QSB go? How do you install it? Where does the reset wire go? Where does the R-jtag's wiring go that you soldered in? Please tell me more, make a video or something, because I am stuck." Wow, that's a lot of questions. Again, I did explain this in part of my video, that my videos aren't necessarily like, they're not exactly like in real time, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like I'm recording it like fully exactly what I'm doing. There's certain parts where I'll like cut out that whole part because I ran into a speed bump or something happened. So if you actually look through the video, I put official Team Xecuters screenshots of where exactly the wires go into, where the QSBs go into. So even if you don't see me like literally soldering it in with my video, if you follow those pictures that Team Xecuter officially launched that I put in my video, it does show you. Just take a look at that. I also believe I linked you guys in the description of this video to where exactly the pictures are on Team Xecuter's website, so you can see like a giant screenshot of those pictures in case you can't see it in my video. And again, I had someone else respond to him telling him that same thing as well. So that is that. Alright, quick question from the Airsoft Pawn. Yeah, it says, this works on Opus motherboards too. I did answer this in one of the previous questions, but no, as of right now, it works on only HDMI consoles, so hopefully they will be releasing a follow-up that will be good for Xenon and Opus as well. Next, we have a question from, where are we? Okay, Pivot Bank, I think it's Pivot Bank. It says, "Wait, do you install the chip before you make the Zell or after? One tutorial said to do it before." It really doesn't matter whether you install the chip before or after you make Zell, but Zell will not work until you've installed the chip. So you can, write Zell to the board, then install the chip, or you can install the chip, then write Zell. But until you've got both of those things done, nothing's going to happen. So it doesn't really matter the order. Some people might do it before, some might do it after. Next question comes from XX. It says, "Which one do you recommend to buy, the starter or ultimate kit? I'm going to be doing this to my Jasper." So that question really depends on a few things. Well, not really a few things, mostly one thing. Do you own a Nandex or JR programmer? If you do, then I would say go with the starter kit, and especially if you're not going to be doing services. If you're just doing one for yourself personal use, then starter kit's plenty. If you don't have a Nandex, don't have a JR programmer, then you're going to have to pick up one, so you might as well just go with the ultimate kit, get the newest JR programmer, and you'll be good to go. Alright, next question comes from Mr. Reptard, and he asks, "How do I know to use the Nandex or the R-jtag? Which one do I use?" Again, don't take this as me trying to be insulting. I don't know if you typed this wrong or not, but if you don't know the difference between a Nandex and the R-jtag, then I probably wouldn't attempt this on your own. Again, this isn't me being rude, it's just me saying I'm trying to save you from damaging your Xbox. I mean, if you are going to do it, then you just do a lot more research, because pretty much the Nandex is what you use to read and write the NAND files to and from your Xbox. The R-jtag is the new exploit that is used to boot into Homebrew and a hacked dashboard. So it's not using one or the other. You need a Nandex along with, or you need a NAND reader. You don't need a NANDX, but you need a NAND reader along with the R-jtag chip setup to be able to run this. So it's not a one or the other thing. You need the Nandex or a NAND reader in order to perform this exploit. Alright, last question, because I actually did answer the rest of them by typing up comments, but again, there was so many more now, I decided I might as well just make video out of this. Comes from Faith and Distance, and he asks, when you're soldering the wires on the other side of the board, do you feed the wires through the chip thing like you did on the RGH one, or isn't there anything you need to solder on the other side of the board? So there is things you need to solder on the other side of the board, and one of them is actually just a ribbon. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Again, I did this R-jtag 2 weeks ago, and that was the only one I've done, so I can't really picture in my head. But I know that one of the soldering on the bottom is going to be this little QSB right here, and then you just connect a ribbon to it, and this connects into the R-jtag chip. So that's one less wire to solder, so you wouldn't feed this one through the hole on it's the south bridge. It just goes around the side of the motherboard. I believe, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe that there is one wire that's going to be coming from the R-jtag down below. There might not be, don't hold me to this, but there might be. If there is, then yeah, I just feed it through the south bridge. I just, off the top of my head right now, cannot remember. And then again, there's also, if you go with the R-jtag, you use the QSB that they give you, you're going to have to solder that to the bottom of the board as well, but that's not going to be a wire feeding through the top. So anyways, that is all the questions I have as of right now. Hopefully this will be helpful to you guys. Please let me know if you appreciate me taking the time to answer your questions, because I've seen all these questions piling up and I feel bad, 'cause it's like, crap, like I have time to respond to one and then I forget about them, and then I just seen them piling up, so I wanted to help you guys, and I figured that by maybe visually or verbally, again, talking, it might make more sense than just typing I have like, I don't know, 200 characters, or I don't know how many characters it gives you each comment, but yeah, that's it guys. So Dope930, and this has been a response to my tutorial how to R-jtag any Phat HDMI console, and thanks for watching. Peace.